Please like and subscribe to the channel. Right, I hope everybody's doing well. Hopefully this is not too crooked here. Let's see if we can straighten her out. She looks a little crooked. Let's see. I don't know why that is. Let's try that. Anyways, Acts 12. Let's talk about it a little bit, okay? We know that this is the chapter that we see that Peter is in prison. We see this is Herod, who we believe, let's see here, Herod, the king, King Herod was Herod Agrippa the First, the grandson of Herod the Great. He had a mediocre career. He wasn't a really well-known person. Josephus in Antiquities 1819 talks about how he was a mediocrity type of individual. Let's get into the reading here and get through 12. We did 11, so let's do 12. Now, or in Greek, we say day, epavalon tes cherion kakasei ton tennis opi tes eklekios. First verse is now about that time. Herod the king stretched forth his hands to vex to lay on, and to certain of the church. And he killed James, the brother of John, with a sword. And because he saw it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter. So he's seeing already, like, hey, the Jews are happy I killed James. Yeah, right up front here. The expression under when he talks about the sword is the expression of executing with a sword probably refers to the beheading of James, was known as the apostolic martyr. Eusebius tells us about that. He says, on James, it's not his brother. The death ended in a short period of peace, noted in chapter 9:31, after the persecution was intended. So, a little bit of peace, mediocrity, King Herod. He kills James. He sees it pleases the Jews, so he proceeds to take Peter. Then there were days of the unleavened bread. And when he had apprehended him, he put him into prison and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intended after Easter to bring him forth to the people. So he intended to probably kill Peter. Peter therefore was kept in prison by prayer, was made without ceasing of the church unto God for him. And when Jared would have brought him forth the same night, Peter was sleeping between 2 soldiers, but bound with 2 chains, and the keepers before the door kept the prisoner. So get the picture that, these centurions, there was 4 of them in this situation, quaternion or quaternions, or however you want to say it, but that's 4 different, that's how important this guy Peter was. He put 4 guys around him. And if you lost your prisoner, you were executed yourself. So it was important. And behold, the angel of the Lord came, and he came upon him and shined a light in the prison, and he smote Peter on the side and raised him up, saying, arise up quickly. And his chains fell off from his hands. And the angel said unto him, gird thyself and bind on thy sandals also. So he did. And he said unto him, cast thy garments about thee and follow me. And he went out, followed him, and wist not that it was true which was done by the angel of the Lord, but thought he saw a vision. So he's thinking he's in a dream. When they were past the first and second ward, they came unto the iron gate that leadeth out to the city, and it opened to them, or excuse me, of his own accord, and they went out and passed one through the street. And forthwith the angel departed from him. And when Peter had come to himself, he said, now I know of surety that, we know that was what, the Lord, right? Let's see what he says here. The Lord, he knew it was the Lord, hath sent his angel, and he hath delivered me out of the hands of Herod, and from all the expectations of the people of the Jews. So the Jews wanted him dead anyways. So let's look at this a little bit. James, let's see what James, yeah. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Here we go. We said it was James. All right, so Zebedee. son of Zebedee, surnamed Christ with John. All right, so we know that was uh, the brother of John, right? The brother of, but he killed James, the brother of John, correct. So James is killed. Just want to make sure I haven't counted it. So Herod's base policy. Peter was guarded. We know the intention here. Then we get to Herod themselves up. So he's outside. And then when Peter come to himself, he knew for surety, or alos, that is surety, that the Lord had sent his angel and had delivered me out of the hand of Herod and from the expectation of the people and the Jews. So he knew it. Wist means knew, is what's being called out here. So he's delivered at this point. The angel leaves. Now we go to 11. And when Peter had come to himself, and he said he knew that it was the Lord, verse 12, and when he had spin the channel, and when he had considered the thing, he had come to the house of Mary, the mother of Mark, or her mother Mary, the mother of John, whose surname was Mark. So having realized it, so then where many were gathered together praying. So people were inside praying at this place. It was Mark's mother's house. Peter knocked on the door of the gate, and the damsel came to hearken, or heard the name, and her name was Rhoda. And when she knew Peter's voice, she opened not the gate for gladness, but ran and told how Peter stood at the gate. And they said unto her, Thou art mad. But she constantly affirmed that it was even so. Then said they, It is his angel. But Peter continued knocking, and when they had opened the door and they saw him, they were astonished. But he beckoned unto them with his hand to hold their peace and declare unto them how the Lord had brought him out of the prison. And he said, Go show these things unto James and to the brethren. And he departed and went to another place. Now, as soon as it was day, there was no small stir among the soldiers what was become of Peter. And when Herod had sought for him, he found him not. He examined the keepers and commanded that they should be put to death. See what I mean? And when Herod, and he came down from Judah to Caesarea, and there he abode. And Herod was highly displeased with them at Tyre and Sidon. But they came with one accord to him, having made Blastus the king chamberlain, their friend, desired peace, because their country was nourished by the king's country. And upon a day, or set day, Herod, arrayed in royal apparel, sat upon his throne and made an oration, or declaration, orally, unto them. And the people gave a shout, saying, It is the voice of God and not of man. And immediately the angel of the Lord smote him, because he gave not God the glory, and he was eaten of worms and gave up the ghost. But the word of God grew and multiplied, and Barnabas and Saul returned from Jerusalem when they fulfilled their ministry, and they had fulfilled their ministry, and took that with them John, who was surnamed Mark. All right. So let's get the picture here. Herod gets killed here. So Peter's frustrated. He finally gets seen. He's in the house now. Let's look. The guards from the cell on his own accord. Peter's not in prison long because the Lord got him out of there, right? All right. So two trains logically mean sense, translate temporal clause. So yeah, they were guarding, they were holding. Let's see. And behold, because they offered between the Greek styles. I'm just looking at the grammar and looking at the tense, the present tense, past tense, to see if there's anything that's sticking out. Archaic word girdle, which is sash, specified, translation, outer garment, Peter. Okay. So I'm not going to go too far into that. So let's look. All right. So basically, we read it. So the thing that I found interesting, they thought, the girl Rhoda, right? Rhoda, she was mad. Thou art mad, is what they said. The word mad is menanomia. Thou art mad, is what they're saying to her. And of course, she wasn't. So constantly affirming, strong asserting the fact that he was there and elsewhere. The guardian angel, according to the Jewish belief, and continued. They were astonished. They were astounded. 17 talks about where they were, but he beckoned. he Cataseus beckoned, literally shaking down. And then to hold their peace, he beckons unto them, and with his hand hold their peace, declaring unto them how the Lord had brought him out of prison. He is telling them to be silent, and he declares, same way back in chapter 8, verse 33, he declares his generation for this lifetime on this earth is utilized. And then hold your peace, declared, Lord, show, the same as told, basically in 17. So then they said, they brought him out. He said, let's see, go beckon to them, hold their peace to them that had brought him out of the prison. And he said, go show means told, go tell these things unto James, and that's the Lord's brother, and to the brethren. And he departed and went to another place, another being heteros. We don't know where he went. At least this chapter doesn't talk about it. And then and then it says, now as soon as it was day or morning had come, there was no small stir. That means a disturbance. Tracheosis is the word they use. Disturbance can also be seen in another part of the Bible. Chapter 19 talks about it too. Disturbance kind of gives it the same temperature, if you will. And Herod sought for him and found him not, and sought him up and down. He was looking vigorously for him, and he couldn't find him. And so he examined the people that were keeping Peter, and he put him to death. He killed them. He executed them. And he goes down to Caesarea. Let's see. And Herod was displeased. Okay, yeah, and he went down from Judah to Caesarea, and there he abode with Herod. And Herod was highly displeased with them at Tyre and Sidon. But they came with one accord to him, and having made Blastus or Blastum, I don't even think we have he was in royal apparel. He sat upon the throne. He made an oration to them, and the people shout, saying, it is the voice of God. And immediately the angel of the Lord smote him, because he was prideful, thought he was God. He was killed, and he was eaten with the worms, and he gave up the ghost. So he became worm dirt. But the word grew about the gospel and Peter, and multiplied. And Barnabas and Saul returns from Jerusalem, when they were when they were done with their ministry, and they took them with them, surnamed Mark. So Mark goes with them, and they go on to their next journey. And that's the end of 12. So, short little chapter. We learn essentially that Peter's in prison. Basically, he's persecuting the Jews. Essentially, he kills James and the brother of John, puts Peter in jail. He plans to, after Easter, to bring him to trial and execute Peter as well. Doesn't happen. The angel of the Lord comes and gets him, and he delivers him out. He tells the other followers to go tell James, the brother of Jesus, about what had happened, and Peter's out. And at the same time, we learned that Herod, he's killed because of his inability. Well, basically, he wasn't humbling at all. He was accepting the fact that they were thinking he was a god. And the angel of the Lord came down and smote him and killed him. A couple things. We know that the Lord takes care of his people. Took care of Peter, came and got him. We know that not only did he come get him, but he also, protected him, got him out, let him go. At the same time, he sent a message about his people to Herod when he had him killed. He strengthened the people. If you think about it, he strengthened the folks to learn that God had done it by releasing him. And the lessons for us there is know that God will take care of us and take care of us and take care of his own. And at the same time, is not to have too big of britches or anything like this Herod guy did, and trying to think that he was a god because people were saying that, and the angel of the Lord smote him. And then we see where, as we get to the end there, it talks about how so Barnabas and then Paul returned to Jerusalem when they had completed their mission, and bringing along with them John Mark. simple chapter. We're getting ready to talk about the church in Antioch and the commissions, Barnabas and Saul. But that was a short little get together, and I just want to take a moment to share that with you. I hope it was just an informative one. And that was chapter 12. Look forward to chapter 13 in the future. All right. Take care. Bye bye.